Come tidy with me while I share with you budgeting advice you've never heard before. This advice will help you if budgeting has never worked in the past. I'm here to present an entirely new and easy budget that is so easy to stick to and so easy to save money, it'll make you forget that it's payday. Come along with me as I pick up my very messy living room and I will tell you 5 easy steps that you haven't heard before that will completely transform your budget this year. And be sure to stick around to the end to see some pretty satisfying results of my tidy up. Starting off strong with step number 1. I want you to look back on your last couple of months of expenses and add up everything that you've spent. Figure out how much you realistically live on. We are not looking at what you want to live on, but what you currently are living on. We aren't trying to change you to your ideal self, but instead I'm trying to help you let your budget meet you where you are. Figure out the average that you spend each month. And as long as you are living below your means, work with that number for now. For sake of an example, we'll say that you get paid once a month and you bring in $4,500 and you spend on average of $4,000 a month. This may be more or less than what you're actually working with, but please don't get hung up on my numbers. They're only an example. You can change it for your numbers and for your paycheck frequency. Step number 2, change your direct deposit. Most financial gurus will assume that your paycheck goes into checking and they'll tell you to have an automated payment going into savings. But I want to challenge you to flip that. Have your direct deposit go into savings. Now don't worry, this will make sense later. Stick with me. Now for step number 3, we're going back to that example with the $4,000. This is where you're going to set up an auto transfer of that $4,000 to go from savings to checking. Step number 4, we're going to write down that $4,000 and subtract the bills and non-negotiable budget items first. Step number 5, take what is left and divide it by 4 weeks a month. Now pay yourself that amount every Sunday and your budget is done. Now a little tip. I personally like to get gas and groceries at the beginning of the week to get the necessities, and then anything that's left is for fun or for weird things that might come up. Now, before I tell you the most important part of this system, I do want to introduce myself. My name is Dee, and I like to share all things home management, homeschool, and home life while I clean my house. So hit subscribe if you want to chat while you watch someone clean. And if you think that this budget might work for you, hit the thumbs up. But the most important part, don't give yourself a raise. Unless, of course, something big happens, like you add another member to your family, you move to a higher cost of living city, or you have to account for inflation. But watch how easy it is to save in the long run when you cannot see the money that you're saving. And by not giving yourself a raise, you avoid lifestyle creep. So why does this whole system work? Well, in addition to avoiding lifestyle creep, it helps you save money without even thinking about it. Sure, it might only be $50 or $100 now, but over time, as you get raises, it'll become more and more, and you won't even know it. One day, you'll look into your savings and see a lot more money than you anticipated seeing. It is also very flexible. Do you prefer using envelopes? Not a problem. Just put that $260 a week into that envelope. Prefer to just watch your checking account dwindle? You could do that here, although that can be tricky. You want to still make sure that you're putting aside enough to pay your bills first. Do you prefer to use all debit or credit cards? Again, not a problem. Just keep a log in a notebook or on your phone, logging the expenses each week. It's very adaptable for whatever works best for you. Once you've been doing this budgeting system a while, you can challenge yourself if you want. You can lower your living expenses if that is your goal. It can be anything, but there is no rush. You can slowly chip away at your goal and eventually become that version of you that you are dreaming of. That version of you that saves a certain amount of money each month. But if you're also happy with where you're at and maybe you just want to keep track of where your money is going, this also would work well for you. You don't have to change anything. And as I said before, this budgeting method really meets you where you're at. So tell me in the comments below, what are you personally hoping to achieve by budgeting? Please remember, personal finance is personal. This might not work for you, even though I truly hope it does. And if it doesn't, that's okay. It's just an idea from some lady on YouTube.